everyone to Biz Encounters for another story behind the journey of entrepreneurship. And today's guest is Cindy Sherman. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi, how's everybody doing today?
This is just such a pleasure to get to speak to you today. So I'm excited for everyone to learn all about you and what you do. So you have a unique twist on your business, which I really like. So let's get started. So tell us the name of your business and what you do.
Okay, I am Cindy Sherman with Creating Magic Vacations. I am a travel agent that loves to help people make their travel dreams come true. Um, I work with all types of people. I do all types of trips, cruises, land portions, really anything you can think of. I can make it happen for you. I love working with people who maybe are a little hesitant to travel. I give very one-on-one service and just kind of talk them through, make sure they have electronic copies, paper copies, everything they need for a successful trip.
Very good. And of course, it's obvious you do Disney because of what's on your wall behind you. So that's pretty cool. So, when and why did you start your business?
I retired in 2023. It's been a day, let me tell you, in 2023. And I was a special education teacher. And when I was retiring, I knew I wasn't done working, and I still really loved working with my population. So my initial plan was to become a travel agent that really specialized in working with families with special needs. And as you know, once you get out in the business, then you kind of start seeing other needs appear that match up really with my unique skills. The last 15 years, I was transition coordinator, so it was very involved with families and the planning and really getting to know them. I use a concept called SPIN, which identifies the strengths, preferences, interests, and needs. And I did that in my professional life, and then I just brought that over as a travel agent too. So really being able to identify what they need to make their trip the best that they can. So that's kind of how I transitioned into becoming an entrepreneur and moved from education into the business world.
And that's just wonderful. So, do you have a fascinating or a boring startup story for your business?
Oh, um, it's fascinating. I guess maybe one of my things that really helped develop my love of working with those that maybe are a little hesitant is one of my first clients, and I knew her in the educational world. She is a great grandmother raising her great grandsons, and she wanted to give these boys an opportunity to see parts of the country, parts of the world that they haven't seen before. So the first trip we did was a trip to Seattle, and it was a lot of making sure that she knew how to use Uber. She'd never used Uber before, and that was kind of one of the ways. So making sure she understood that, even willing to go on a test run with her. That's kind of that one-on-one support that I like to give. And they had a successful time, had a great time, planned then a cruise out of Galveston. And luckily with one of my volunteer opportunities, I was able to be on that cruise with her and just kind of help her kind of navigate that. And then we planned a trip for her and her boys to Hawaii. So each trip, I just kind of get to know a little bit more of what to look for and to make sure that we have all the ends wrapped up to make it a seamless trip for her.
That is so cool. So, how did you secure your startup capital when you got started?
Um, One thing with being a travel agent is you can really establish how much you startup money that you need to be able to start the program. Now, I was lucky because I was coming out of education. I did get a nice little bonus when I left for my sick days that I didn't use. So I kind of used that as a startup. But really, if you just need the nuts and bolts to get started, you're probably looking around 150 a month. Now, the agency that I joined, because I'm an independent contractor with them, they have what they call Agent Palooza, which is their annual conference. And to join that agency in particular, there was a little bit more of a cost, which include that conference and weekly training. one-on-one training. They just kind of added a lot of additional things. So I was lucky enough to have that little stash, I guess you might say, that from my first career to help start up my encore career. Somebody said that this is my encore career. So I'm going with that.
That's very good. So would you say that you pretty much had like what you needed, like office stuff, like a computer and some programs? Did you have a customer management program, or is
Yes.
that included with being involved with someone, a bigger
Yep.
company? Okay.
All of that, with that startup cost came all their original branding for creating Magic Vacations. So that included some shirts with some branding on it. It included business cards. It included customer management system. And that was a minimal cost at that time. I think it was like $20. They have since changed, and it's upped a little bit more. And so basically the to run my business is about $100 per month. Or so to go through them. And so all of that was included in that first startup cost, that, and then the conference too, at Disney World. So everything that you need to run a business, I got from them to get started. And then they also help with some additional things with some direct mailing options. We have a system that we use for that. And then some social media posts. We also have access to a system that they work with in developing. Okay, Disney has just dropped good deals going on. So then we would have some social media posts on that.
Okay. All right. So what are some of your success stories? What's worked really well for you, whether it's a customer, a client, or promoting your business? So what would you say some of your success stories are?
I really think the personalized service that I can provide, whatever those, going back to those needs, what those families need is what I try to provide. I'm getting ready for a family to go on a cruise coming up end of June, and they have a multiply handicapped individual. So there were things to consider for mobility. There's some prescriptions that we had to kind of clear and to work through, and making sure that they have all the necessary items that they need in their stateroom for this to be a great vacation for them. So just that attention to detail and really being able to identify what is it that you need, and then be able to pull in those kind of supports to make it most successful.
Okay. All right. So the next question is about how, what about a failure? I call it falling forward, but what have you learned from falling forward? We'll just say it that way.
Wow. Every day is a learning process. I think what I've really learned is to do my good research and to really predict what some questions would be, to be able to have those handy. And then also being able to say, hey, I don't know that answer, but I'm going to go search for it. And being okay with that. Because there's so many different vendors, and each vendor does things differently. And I would much rather be able to say, let me double check the answer to that and go and answer that than just go, oh, well, this worked for Royal, so it should work for Holland. And I have kind of learned that process, that not every vendor is the same. And so before I say, oh, sure, you'll be fine, or this happens, I'm like, let me double check what that looks like for this company.
Sounds like you kind of learned to do that probably from an experience that you had, probably, is my guess.
Yes.
You learn how to put procedures in place.
Yes. Yes. I can't think of anything specific, but there have been times where I've said one thing and then I went and researched and I'm like, oh. Yeah. So then I had to go back to my client and say, let me clarify here. And that's one thing I try to really do, is to be very open and honest and very just, hey, this is what I did. This is what I'm doing. This is how it's going to affect. Let me check on, those kind of things.
Okay. Was there a time that you've had to pivot what you're doing, like change something, or whether it be in your marketing or the way that you were gathering clients, or did you have to pivot at some point while you were learning all of this?
Yes. What I discovered is when I really was kind of narrowing down that I just wanted to work with families with disabilities, um, that was not really getting me that many people. I had another agent say, you can support that, but that's not going to be your bread and butter. So I kind of had to do a little pivoting to figure out what my bread and butter is. I'm adding to kind of what I provide by doing some hosted trips coming up. I'm doing one in 27 to Alaska, a cruise tour to Alaska that I'm really excited about. And then I haven't really announced this, so this might be the first one that would hear it. I'm adding another one in 2027. It's going to be a Christmas market river cruise on the in through Germany and Switzerland, and it's going to be really exciting. It's on the Riviera cruise line, and it's called a solo trip, which means that there's only one person in each cabin, which is kind of what I found with kind of my demographics are my age, you know, encore career time, that not everybody has that partner or that one person that can travel with them. So being able to put together a hosted trip where you just have to worry about yourself in your own cabin and it's not double the cost of what it would be. And so I'm really excited about that. We'll spend 5 days on the Rhine in the Christmas markets. So there's a little sneak peek for you guys.
Oh, yeah, you heard it all here first. I'm telling you, this is exciting. A Christmas trip? Are you kidding? And there, I mean, it's beautiful during that time of year. Like
Yeah.
they don't hold anything back.
No, no. And
That's
Christmas markets
beautiful.
are the way to see Christmas. And this will be early December, and that's all I'll say for now. So if people want more information, we can get that for them.
Wow. So, okay. So, who makes up your support system? Is it family, friends, mentors? Who keeps you encouraged and going?
My husband has been a big support, and we always talk about, well, how was your day today? And when I said, hey, I booked this trip or I got a new client, he gets really excited for me on that. Of course, the owners of the agency, Carrie and Rob Stewart, have been there from day one. I have that biweekly one-on-one meetings with Carrie to just kind of talk about where we are going, to help me with my marketing, to push me a little bit or a lot of it sometimes, kind of getting out of my comfort system. And then other agents in my company, and I have two in particular that I've gotten to be pretty close with, and we're daily talking about things. And what's really good with that is each one of us kind of has our own area of expertise. So if I have a question on like Disney cruises, which I've done some, but it's not my day in, day out supports, I can throw a question in with these two guys. And I know one of them that's what she does, is all Disney. So she's able to kind of answer those questions. And he does a lot of carnival, so I can get those carnival information. So
That's
it's
really
nice to
nice.
have those that kind of support. If I'm having a bad day, I can just go, oh my goodness, check this out. And they're there to support and keep me going.
That is so nice. So, how would you describe your ideal client?
Oh,
And don't say everybody.
no, I'm learning. That's a learning piece for me, is how to say, "Mm, let me direct you to somebody else." My ideal client is somebody who can come to me and say, this is what we're thinking. We want to go do this. Here's the time frame. Um, One who would give me a little bit of leeway to add things or make suggestions. Open communication is huge for me. It's really important for me that if I throw something out there and somebody doesn't like it, that they're like, Cindy, where the heck did you get that? That's not part of what I want. So somebody who's good at communicating and not afraid to say, no, that's change this or add this or those kind of things. I think just somebody who really wants to go travel. I love working with those that haven't traveled much. I don't know. I think that just goes back to my heart and my experience of being a teacher is that kind of step in that role and say, okay, let's push your boundaries a little bit here. What do you think about this? And just making sure that they feel comfortable.
That's wonderful. So every business owner or someone who wants to be a business owner or a new business owner, they all want to know the answer to the question of everybody has life struggles that happen alongside running a business. So how do you balance and make everything move together?
Can I say that I'm still working on learning that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's probably one area that I'm working on. I realize that with my business, when I'm available during the day, that might not be when my clients are mostly available. So I try to make sure that I'm available or have some time in the evening as well to be able to answer those questions or mostly set up those meetings where we can go over an itinerary or discuss options or something along that line. That's still an area that I'm focusing on and trying to find that magic balance. Sometimes I just have to say, okay, I've got 2 hours on Saturday. That's all I'm going to give to it. But again, a lot of what I do has deadlines and I've got to get the information out to the people so that they can have the best trip possible. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm working all the time, but
It
I
is
want
a
to make sure that
balancing
my
act.
clients have what they need when they need it.
Yeah, it's always a balancing act,
Yeah.
and there is no magic to deal with this. But it is after a while you learn how to put the boundaries in place, and so that everybody's getting the attention they want, and you still have a piece of you left to take care of. And so it just sometimes it just takes a minute to get that all figured out, but it is doable. So, what words of encouragement do you have for someone who wants to start a business or is just getting started?
Um, Number one, hang in there. You're going to have some rough days. You're going to be like, is this really what I want to do? And it's amazing how sometimes I might get into that and I'm like, okay, my phone hasn't been ringing at all for new trips. What am I doing? Where do I need to go from here? And then boom, I get like 3 or 4 new clients. That seems to happen. Find those that are gonna support you. That has been huge for me. Because it is a huge switch going from education going into business. And I always kind of compare it like this. In education, those kids show up at your doorstep and then you got to figure out what to do with them. In the business world, you have to go find those people to cross your doorstep and making sure that you have the connections in place and those to support you and those that'll say, what about doing this and being receptive to those ideas and those thoughts and just constantly trying to be better each day and reach more people.
Yes. Well, Cindy, you've left a lot of stuff with us to think about today. And if anybody's considering going into your industry, I think you'd be the perfect person to talk to. Absolutely. So, anyways, well, thank you so much, Cindy, and thank you for your time. And Cindy's contact information will be on the slide following this segment and in the description below. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you at the next Biz Encounters. Bye bye.